Welcome to A Leader's Journey, the podcast for leaders who deeply believe there is a better way to lead and desire to create their unique journey towards becoming a legacy leader. I'm your host, Shannon Hammond. Over the last 20 years as a corporate leader and leadership performance coach, I've learned that many leaders believe there is a predefined path they have to follow and struggle leaning into their unique gifts that will create lasting impact and fulfillment. They end up feeling stuck, unhappy, and unfulfilled in the day-to-day of their role, and are challenged with why, since they have experienced success in their career and in life. I'm here to help leaders think through their leadership journey, learn how to ask themselves better questions, and learn the formula to create their leadership journey by design. If you are ready to design your unique leadership journey, lead with confidence, and love the teams you lead, then you are in the right place. Let's do this. Hello, my friends and fellow leaders. I'm glad to have you back here with me this week on the podcast. And if this is your first time tuning in, welcome. I am so happy that you are here. I know your time is valuable, and I'm grateful that you have chosen to spend some of it with me. Today on the podcast, we are going to talk about the art of delegation. And it truly is an art because it's a creative process which doesn't have one specific way in which it has to be done. You get to decide what it looks like for you, the process that you will follow, and the outcome that you desire. Delegating is all about allocating the right work to the right person at the right time. Now, I recognize delegating can be hard for leaders. You know that everyone in your organization is just as busy as you are, and the last thing that you want to do is put more on their plates, especially if you are delegating to your team. You know their work, you see their work firsthand, and might feel guilty asking them to do more. This is where you have to have faith and trust in yourself that you've created an environment of openness and honesty, and that your team will be open and honest with you if they truly don't have time to take on what you are asking. So I encourage you to still approach the conversation. If you don't, you could be missing a huge opportunity to invest in the future of that individual, allow them to thrive in their role right here, right now, and set them up for future success. Now, who doesn't want that as a leader? It may also be challenging to delegate when you are new to your role. You are still learning your role and your team, and you may want to take on more tasks so you understand what your team does, and you might not want your new direct reports to see that you don't know what you are doing. It's also possible that the team that you are now leading are your former peers, and you may feel fearful or uncomfortable telling them what to do. You may have also come from an individual contributor role where you were responsible for getting the work done and have not yet shifted your habits and your mindset from being the person to do the work to the person that gets the work done through others. I'm here to tell you that these are all normal feelings and thoughts. And there are tons of reasons why leaders hesitate to delegate. Yet leaders can't do all the work themselves. It's just not possible. So they need to be comfortable and confident, leaning on their team and others. As leaders, we need to know our priorities. And I'm certain that everything you are currently doing today is not your priority. Effective leaders, they are spending their time on what they do well, what is most important for them to do and only they can do, and they are consistently teaching and developing others. To grow as a leader, you need to change, which means you need to look at what you are doing through a different lens and step out of areas that you are currently in, which one way to do this is through delegation. While there are delegation tools and resources available, there is no single right way to delegate. It will be unique to you as the person delegating, the individual or group you are delegating to, and the task that you are delegating. This means that you more than likely will not delegate the same way all the time. You may have to try different things, see what works and what doesn't, make adjustments and pivot and try again. So today, I'm not going to tell you exactly how you need to delegate and what you need to delegate. That's something you will need to contemplate through and assess what is right for you, your team, and your organization. Today, I will share with you, though, why I believe delegating is important, and I will share with you some tips that I have learned along the way to help you in delegating more effectively. So let's dive in and let's talk about 3 reasons why I believe delegating is important and why you need to do that. The first one is that delegating allows you to focus on what is most important. And I shared that a little bit earlier. You need to be focused on what is most important for you as the leader. Everyone's time is valuable. And as leaders, it's easy for us to get pulled into everything. You want to serve, so you end up saying yes to it all. And then you have more work on your plate than you can handle. And you are focused on all these little things that are not really what you need to be doing as a leader. Delegating allows you as the leader to focus on what is essential for you and your role, what truly is the most important. The tasks and work you need to do to be able to move your team forward and focus on your most important initiatives and not get bogged down with all these little things that need to get done, but they're not what you as the leader need to do. The second reason why you need to delegate is that it helps support your growth and development as a leader. A big part of leadership is being able to get things done through others. And in order to do that, you need to be effective at giving direction. Delegating allows you to learn how to effectively give direction to different individuals and truly how effective you are at doing so. It gives you that practice so you can see where your opportunities for growth are and where you really excel at being able to give direction to others. When leaders are bogged down in the doing, they are also not focused on the strategic thinking, and the first thing that they typically cut out is their personal growth, which is a big mistake. You have to be growing as a leader, and you need to be setting the example that your team needs to be doing the same. So when you've eliminated all the fluff, you'll be able to better see where your strengths and gaps are as a leader and be able to put your effort into developing your strengths and leaning into them and delegating the tasks where you might have some gaps. Or leaning into where do you need to close those gaps for you as a leader to be able to continue to elevate your leadership and move into what is next for you. And the last reason that I'm going to share with you today about why you need to delegate is that it also supports the growth and development of your team and others around you. When you delegate, you are teaching another person something new, which gives them an opportunity to learn new skills and knowledge and gain new experiences. It could also be an area of strength or something that that person is familiar with. So they are getting an opportunity to use the skills that they already have, continue to build on them, and do something that they enjoy. Your team loves to learn new things and get new experiences. They also want to know that you have trust, faith, and confidence in them. So when you delegate and ask them to take on a new task or project, you are building their self-confidence and investing in their growth. When your employees feel like you are investing in their growth and development, they will be more engaged overall in their role. And when employees are highly engaged, they are more effective at their role, their performance levels increase, and they are happier coming to work, even on the days that are challenging for them. So that's 3 reasons why you need to delegate. Now I want to share some tips that I have found helpful to be able to delegate effectively. So tip number 1 is know your goals. When you know where you are going and what you are working on, it will help you identify the tasks, the meetings, the projects, etc., that are on your plate that don't align with your goals. Now, that doesn't mean that you can delegate everything that doesn't align with your goals, because there are things that you have to do as a leader that just cannot be delegated. But looking at your goals gives you a place to start, and you can assess the things that are on your plate and make that list about what aligns and what doesn't align, and then determine for the things that don't align, can they be delegated to somebody else? This is especially true if you are struggling to manage your time as a leader, not getting things done or getting them done on time, or trying to reduce overwhelm, stress, or burnout. If that is a focus of yours or a challenge of yours, delegating is going to allow you to be able to work on those things as well. My second tip to help you delegate more effectively is to also know your team's goals. This really helps you in identifying what to delegate and to who to delegate it to. This allows you to be able to look for opportunities on your team to be able to invest in their growth and development. This really helped me look at everything that I was doing differently because I knew what their goals were, how they saw themselves accomplishing that goal, and also the why behind their goals. So I was able to look at everything that was on my plate through a different lens and look at it from the perspective of, can this help my team achieve something that they are invested in doing or that they really want to do? And one of the ways that you really are successful as a leader is being able to help others achieve their goals. It also allows you to be able to leverage the unique strengths and gifts of your team. Their strengths and gifts, they are more than likely different than yours, which gives you an opportunity to take the things that are on your plate that you are not maybe the best at doing, or maybe you shouldn't be doing, and be able to leverage the strength of somebody else who could probably get that task or that project done more efficiently and with better quality than you could. My third tip when you are delegating is make sure that you are taking time to plan out that conversation. When you don't plan, you plan to fail. We probably know the task or the project that we are delegating very well. And it's easy for you to miss some of the critical details because you probably do them without even realizing it. When you're planning out that conversation, you're going to be able to confirm for yourself that you are delegating the right task for the right reason. You're going to be prepared and organized for the conversation, again, so you don't miss some of those critical details. So some of the things that you need to be thinking through when you're planning out that conversation is, what are you delegating? Why you are delegating that task and how it aligns with the goals or strengths of the person that you are delegating to. You need to assess that person's current skills and knowledge. Are there any gaps that they might have that you need to lean into and account for? You want to think through the specific steps of that particular task that need to be taken. You want to understand and be able to explain why that task needs to be done. What's the why behind it? That's going to help set your team member up for success, because when they hit a roadblock or a challenge, they're going to understand why they're actually doing this task and be able to make good decisions along the way, or know when they need to ask for help or ask questions. You also need to understand and determine what level of authority you are giving the person that you are delegating to. While they do need to have a level of authority and autonomy over what you are delegating to them, you are not handing them over the keys to the kingdom. So it's important to be clear what those boundaries are, the decisions that they can make along the way, and where they might need to come back to you for approval, for questions, for clarity, potentially on next steps that they need to take. Delegating well is not about how many items you delegate. It's about how effective you are delegating, and planning out the conversation not only sets you up for success, it sets your team member up for success too. And that's the best way for you to be able to continue to build that habit of delegating, and for your team to be comfortable taking on new tasks that you are giving them. Another tip to be able to effectively delegate is to flex to the skills and experience of the person or the group that you are delegating to. You need to meet them where they are. Now, this doesn't mean that you delegate something to somebody that isn't ready willing, or able to learn, or who might be having some performance issues. Again, delegating is all about delegating the right thing to the right person at the right time. There are going to be times when you are going to delegate to help build the skills and experience of another person, but they have to be ready and at a point where they can build those skills and they can build that knowledge. If they are still at point A in their learning journey and you're trying to delegate them a task that really is maybe a point E or F, you're setting them up for failure and you're setting yourself up for failure. So while yes, I do believe that you need to flex to that person's skills, you need to understand what that is. And again, make sure that you are delegating the right thing to the right person at the right time. And the last tip that I'm going to share with you about being able to delegate effectively is to partner with them on accountability. Determine together the level of support and the check-ins that that person or that group needs. This helps you to solidify their buy-in on taking on that particular task, and it makes them feel trusted and supported throughout that process. It also helps you as the leader ensure that you are not micromanaging or abdicating responsibility for what it is that you want to do. The last thing that you want as a leader is to be overly checking in on that person when they feel like they're doing well and that they're on track. And if you're constantly checking in with them, you might be sending them a message that you really don't trust them to take on what it is that you've asked. And on the opposite end of that spectrum, if you're not present at all, they might feel abandoned or not supported throughout that, and that you just kind of said, here you go, take it, and you've kind of washed your hands of it. It's finding that middle ground, and that's where partnering with them on what that looks like is going to help both you and them as they work through the new task that you've given them. Now, the most important step in delegating is not to give up just because the first time you delegated a task, it didn't go well. The first time that we do anything, it never goes well, right? Or never goes the way that we planned. And that's where taking some time to reflect on what did and didn't go well is a key part of that delegation process. And remember that delegation is an art, and it takes time to get to the final result. When I started being more strategic and intentional about delegating, it allowed my team to step into new challenges. They felt like they were contributing more to the team and making meaningful, consistent progress towards their goals. And it helped me in opening up my calendar to focus on the most important items for me and opened up more time for me to be able to spend to my team. But it wasn't always that way. There was some trial and error along the way. There were some things that I delegated that didn't go very well. And I had to have an open and honest conversation and be very vulnerable with the person that I delegated to, that I had some misses along the way that caused the end result that we got, that it wasn't entirely their fault. So don't give up on yourself. Keep going at it and really start thinking through as you delegate each time, what went well, what didn't go well, what can you do differently next time? And you might want to get some feedback from the person that you are delegating to. Now, I do want to tell you that this is not a free pass to delegate everything that you have on your plate right now. It really does need to be the right things to the right people at the right time. I do encourage you to complete an assessment of your current tasks, responsibilities, and anything that you have on your calendar. And as you go through your weeks, ask yourself if what you are working on absolutely has to be done by you, and is it one of the most important things that you need to be doing at this time? This will help you in easily identifying what you have the opportunity to delegate to one of your team members or maybe to somebody else. And I hope that you will step into really trying to delegate and looking at your work differently. Thank you for tuning in this week and spending some time with me here on the podcast. I hope that you have found this episode valuable and that you are inspired to start delegating. Until next time, lead with confidence and show up every day as the leader you are striving to be. thanks for listening to A Leader's Journey podcast. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. If you're excited to learn more, be sure to subscribe to the podcast and tune in next week for another exciting leadership lesson. I'd love to help you level up your leadership, achieve the goals you desire, and design your unique leadership journey. So click the link in the show notes to schedule a free Level Up Your Leadership session. During this time, we will define where you are in several key areas of leadership, where you desire to be, and how you can level up your leadership. You don't need to do this alone, so let's chat today and get your journey started. Don't forget to connect with me on LinkedIn or in the A Leader's Journey community on Facebook, and share this episode with another leader so we can all learn and grow together. That's all for this episode, and I'll see you next week. Until then, lead with confidence, show up every day as the leader you are striving to be, and make the decision today to level up your leadership this year.